Well, hello there.
Hello.
Oh, come on. I'm feeling a lot better, everyone. Thank you for the well wishes. I have a little bit of a residual cough, but that's about it. And my batteries still aren't recharging after I sleep, really. I'll get to about 65, 70%. I did, however, my first week back at work, do my PRT. And while I didn't get validated, I still scored pretty well. I'm a little butthurt about not getting validated. I've been validated ever since they came up with that. The Navy guys know what I'm talking about, where you score well enough that you don't have to do the physical fitness portion. You can just weigh in the next time, and I didn't get that score. But it's not like the Navy's doing it right now anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter.
It don't matter. None of this matters.
But for those of you out there, having a base level of fitness allows you to succeed after getting kicked in the dick by being sick or unforeseen circumstances or stuff like that. So luckily I've been in the gym enough that my fat ass did well after having no energy and not being able to work out and all sorts of other factors. So that felt nice, but enough about that. First thing I want to hit is excellent job on everybody flooding the House with calls, emails, and social media comments to their congressman, to the point where the assault weapons ban almost didn't pass the House. Anything the House wants to pass, they can along Democrat Party lines, but because of the pressure, Democrats voted against it, which no one thought was going to happen. We did have some RINOs switch over and vote for it, but it barely passed the House where everybody expected it to sail through, which was nice. That's going to sour it going to the Senate, but we have to do the exact same thing in the Senate, which is important. Now, I know a lot of people are celebrating. I'm doing this video Wednesday, August 17th, by the way. It'll probably go up Thursday or Friday. Everybody's excited about Liz Chaney losing her primary, myself included. But when people lose their primaries or say they were going to retire or something like that, then they do a lot of fuck you voting. So definitely keep an eye on that. There's definitely going to be some rocky votes and turbulence between now and January 23. So just be prepared for that.
It's going to be a bumpy ride.
But the same pressure we put on the House, we have to put on the Senate, because they are absolutely trying to push them to pass this assault weapons ban. So we definitely need to stay on top of it. I'm very proud of everyone for doing what they did. There's a lot of dudes on my last video that just stepped up and knocked it out, and it made a difference. I know it doesn't feel like it made a difference, but the fact that it barely squeaked through versus just sailing through is a massive indicator. So it definitely does help. And the voting does work. We're going to see a lot of these RINOs get pulled out of their seats, and that's important. Next, Smith & Wesson. Those of you that have been watching my channel or have known me for years know that I'm not the biggest fan of Smith & Wesson. And just about the time I forgave them is when they did that bullshit lawyer post where they were like, you can't modify our guns because it's our property, even though you own it, like that Ferrari logic, where they'll send you a cease and desist if you wrap the car, paint it a different color or something like that. Which is why you don't see Smith & Wesson products on my channel. Some of my friends have Smith & Wessons, that's fine. I'm not like, oh, you shitbag, you know, just because they own one, it's their business. But me personally, I don't buy Smith & Wesson anything. That said, though, I'm going to give them props for this statement that they put out. One of my buddies sent it to me, and then after I looked at it, of course, it's all over social media, but one of my buddies emailed it to me to bring to my attention. So here's the statement. Good on Smith & Wesson for finally taking a Second Amendment stance. Hopefully this continues, and, you know, credit where it's due. Now, a lot of people, again, are concerned, and a lot of these update videos I do sound like broken records because I'm saying a lot of the same shit, but a lot of the same shit is happening. So people are repeating the behavior and not adapting to the conditions. But
That's what I'm talking about, guys. We've made a great effort so far. Let's just keep it up.
That's right! We can't have anyone freak out there, okay? We've got to keep our composure! We've come too far! There's too much to lose! We've got to just keep our composure!
I've said these 2 points pretty regularly the past 8-10 months, that the current establishment and the left in general is getting very desperate. And the second piece of that, which is related, is if they can take your money, then they don't have to take your rights. So we're seeing a mix of both of those things. And if you're too poor to shoot, you can't use your Second Amendment. And you're going to be less proficient, less capable, and you can't eat a gun. You can eat a bullet once, but you can't eat a gun. And there's a lot of people that will get hard up and they'll sell all their firearms because people will buy them immediately. And then they're without their Second Amendment because of financial decisions or conditions. So you're seeing a lot of gun bills, you're seeing a lot of infringements, you're seeing a lot of, we get these wins in the Supreme Court, and there's a lot of states saying, yeah, I don't care, we're doing it anyway. Take us to court, because they don't expect us to have money or to take them to court. We take them to court, they lose, then they change tactics and do it again, and then we have to take them to court again. But that's okay, because we'll keep stacking wins on top of their defeats, and all they're going to do is lose.
It's all there, black and white, clear as crystal. So you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
But these are battles in the culture war that we're in right now. You're also seeing more activity from the FBI and the IRS. There's a lot of lettered agencies that are doing things that are concerning to people, including myself. It's hard not to feel some sort of way about it at the same time. All of this stuff is on purpose, and there are people within those agencies, even the IRS, believe it or not, that don't agree with the path that they're taking. However, the leadership and a bunch of people in those agencies are going that direction. So the government can't force people to do stuff unless they have an army of IRS agents to hit you financially, have the FBI, DHS, DOJ, and all those things turned inward so they can target American citizens. So that's what's going on right now. And they're about to lose power soon, and they're scared about it. And they're scared about accountability, so you're going to see it ratchet up. This is to bring it to your attention, not to scare you. And in their desperation, they're going to compromise any law, any agency, or any institution to achieve their objective. There's nothing that they won't burn down, there's nothing they won't compromise, and there's nothing that they won't ignore to just do what they want to do. That's their mentality, that's how they operate, and it's painful for those of us that believe in the rule of law or constitution, how court decisions influence the law, all those things. We play by the rules, and of course they're breaking the rules, so we get upset that they're not playing by the rules that they swore to stick to. But again, they're getting very desperate because they can't win using the laws on the books. So voting is very important. It's never not important. And if you don't vote and you don't participate in the system, then those very people that you hate are the ones that are winning because they've convinced you not to be involved, to stay at home, and to just be their servant. So informed, active people in the system are what they fear. And if you choose not to be one of those people, then you're only helping them achieve their goals. Just some food for thought.
Why would you say something so controversial yet so brave?
Okay, there's a lot of gun channels and a bunch of other people that are freaking out over the IRS thing. Now, they are hiring 87,000 more agents. I am not at all on the side of the IRS. I'm not running cover for any government agency, but I have some unique insight into this stuff because I work with a lot of these people, and being an investigator myself, I understand what a lot of this shit is. So I'm gonna break it down for everybody and probably piss off a bunch of these people in the process. So the IRS put out a advertisement for their CID division in the Navy and the Marine Corps, the MPI office. I'm MPI, is called CID. It stands for Criminal Investigations Division. So the IRS since 1919 has had armed agents, and they work in CID. If you look at the job description, you'll see a code. It's an 18 series code, and it tells you what the job is. So an 1810 is a general investigator, and an 1811 is a criminal investigator. A lot of people don't know that NCIS, CID, OSI, all those positions are 1811s. 1811s are your criminal investigators in the federal system. So they put out that ad to hire 1811s to fill their CID positions, of which they have. I don't know how big the IRS and CID office is. It's not as large as a lot of other agencies. And of the 87,000 that they're hiring, it's probably going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,000-ish agents tops to fill those positions. I'll tell you, in the Navy, I don't even think there's 1,000 investigators that are active. The MA rate doesn't have 1,000 investigators. So even though the IRS is hiring those people and they're like, oh, you got to be ready to use deadly force, they're kind of misconstruing the whole 87,000. They're not hiring 87,000 criminal investigators. They don't have positions for 87,000 1811s. So what they're doing with those 87,000 IRS employees, though, is scary, because it's going to be auditing all those mom and pop small businesses in your town. They're going to be auditing you. Anytime you sell a bunch of guns online and they don't use the proper codes through your Cash App or Zelly or whatever, Zelly, however the fuck you say it, PayPal, all that shit, they're coming after you. And they're going to be doing scarier stuff, which is going to be, hey, you owe us another $50. And they know damn well you're not hiring a fucking lawyer to fight the IRS for $50. So they're going to push that until your comfort level and the cost of what they're asking for is cheaper than a lawyer. Because if it exceeds a lawyer, then they know you're going to hire a lawyer and not pay them. So the 87,000 agents are scary, but they're not armed agents, if that makes sense. And a lot of the ammunition that they purchase is for qualification. I am wholly 100% against the IRS having CID. I don't believe that half these agencies should have law enforcement capability. That's Bureau of Land Management, the IRS. I honestly don't think the ATF should be armed. But there's a whole bunch of agencies that have armed agents that shouldn't. So that's my position on that. However, with the stir and the churn and all this stuff going on about, oh, they're hiring 87,000 agents and they're all going to be armed. No. They're hiring some 1811s, and you should still absolutely be concerned about the 87,000 for the stuff that I just said. But just to be clear, that's not what it is. And most of you didn't know until recently that the Postal Service had an investigations division and they have armed law enforcement within the post office. Fun fact, and this is going to piss a lot of people off in my community that I'm saying this because it's one of the best kept secrets, but the highest paid 1811 is the postal inspector. And there are people that leave NCIS, the FBI, the Marshal Service, all that shit to get that job because it's the most cake job out of all law enforcement investigators. I would love that job because it starts at like 112 or 118,000 a year. You get your own car, your own gun, and you get a region you got to take care of. It's the shit. And those postings come up so rarely that you're competing against like 200 dudes trying to get that fucking job. But the highest paid investigator, the highest paid 1811 is the postal inspector who's getting paid to monitor your social media accounts. Some of you were not too happy a bunch of updates ago when I said the DHS was circulating symbols and affiliations and statements and all that other stuff. You know, like the come and take it flag or the Gadsden flag or my no step on snack fucking meme flag. There were some people in the comments like, we don't know this is accurate, but it was an internal memo. Like I can't just break in and take it. And and they're usually confidential or secret when they send them around. But the DHS memo got leaked to Project Veritas and a few other people, and it talked about symbols and groups and all that other stuff. And again, for the guys that were poking at me about the Patriot Front stuff, they put all these right-leaning or extremist right groups or the they're really socialist groups, but the neo-Nazis and all this other stuff, they put all that stuff on there. But you know who was absent from that list? Patriot Front. I wonder why. You know who else was absent? BLM and Antifa. I wonder why. But Patriot Front was remarkably absent from that listing. If the videos of the law enforcement setting up traffic for them and all this other stuff to make sure they get in and get out easily when they don't do that for any other group, or the fact that they're driving point A to point B in a fucking U-Haul, just run down who rented the U-Haul and you'll find it's a government agency. Like, it's gonna be some government travel card linked to Citibank. But whatever, I know a lot of people really want to believe the Patriot Front is real. It's not. And they work for the feds. They're important enough to do a public arrest where they put the whole group on their knees. And this really sketchy, not by the book at all, like any law enforcement official would be like, why are you doing that? That's what you left their hats on. You left their face masks on. You left their backpacks on. All this sketchy shit, like screaming at you that these people are feds. But you know what? They got left off the DHS memo. I wonder why.
I'm definitely not a cop.
Why'd you say you're not a cop?
Because I'm not.
I think that you're a cop.
I
also think that you're a cop.
Listen, boys, you better both stop or I'll have you arrested.
I'm not a cop.
With all that stuff coming up, it's going to be food shortages. Those are going to hit hard, so make sure you're getting food. Gas is going to go back up after the midterms. Don't expect this to last. There's going to be a lull. There's been a reduce in demand because people are poor as fuck, because groceries are still super expensive and they're going up. So food shortages are going to be huge. Your gas is going to go back up. All this stuff they're doing before the midterms is going to get erased. And again, they're going to take it personally that they're about to get their ass handed to them. They won't look at their policies and be like, maybe we should change course. They're gonna completely screw this whole thing up. So it's going to be partial revenge, and it's also going to be, this was always temporary. So the Inflation Reduction Act isn't going to do anything it's going to say it's going to do. Plus, they're just hiring IRS agents to extort money out of the population. And then you're going to have all this stuff kicked back up to where it was. That's going to be forthcoming, so just make sure you make the appropriate adjustments to your lifestyle and your stockpiles. So the importance of all this in closing is not to be overwhelmed or fear porn or panic. It's to be informed about your operating environment and make informed decisions. That's what I'm trying to do here. You can't make informed decisions if you're living in denial or living in la la land or you're not paying attention to the situation on the ground. This is the situation on the ground. They're turning assets inward on the American people. They're hiring IRS tax agents to extort more money to pay for their bullshit, because they've just printed so much money that they have to recoup some, and the Fed is freaking out right now. The Fed is like, stop it. And they're raising interest rates. We're about to have a housing market crash. We're headed towards the same thing that we experienced under the Obama administration.
Gonna have a bad time.
So where's the part where we have a good time?
But worse, absolutely worse, by orders of magnitude that we're not prepared for. This is the worst recession which we are in, by the way. So there's a lot of this stuff going on. And it's going to come to a boiling point. You're going to see a lot of people acting differently. Your neighbors are going to start having that desperate look. They're going to start looking at things and people differently. You're going to have to, go shopping at different times of the day, load your house up, all that stuff. It's going to start getting weird. So understand these things and start making these adjustments now so you can stay ahead of all this shit and not fall victim to fear, desperation, and make a bad series of decisions that compromise your ability to do things.
Okay, you see what he did? He French fried when he should have pizzaed. You French fry when you pizza, you're gonna have a bad time.
So my goal with everything that I do here, and I'm sure S2 Underground and all these other good YouTube channels, is to give people the information to be ahead of the game and in control of your own level of readiness. You are your own supply. You're responsible for your own fitness and mental wellness. You have to take care of you. Make plans, practice them, have backup plans, and all sorts of other stuff. Know other routes. Don't just rely on your GPS. Figure out a plan and how to get there. This is the most important thing though. Don't let people talk you into dumb shit or violence or whatever it is. There will be no shortage of that bullshit, and there will be no shortage of people trying to get you to do bullshit about it. Just the dumbest shit ever. Go forward and do my bidding is what they're pushing for. Don't fall victim to that. And I will tell you, I have red lines myself. My red lines might not be your red lines. If I see certain things, then, you know, they've made those decisions for me as far as I'm concerned. But the level that we're at right now, we are not in that position, and things are about to get pretty crazy, especially if we have serious food shortages. So you have to take care of you and yours. Don't let anyone talk you into doing dumb shit. That's really important. Right now, my mantra and what I recommend to everybody is make sure your food, water, fitness, ammo, and finances are good to the best of your ability. However that needs to look, start making adjustments, have cash on hand, all those things. Stick to that, form communities and friend groups based on those values and mutual aid, and this is how we're gonna win. That's my recommendation for fixes. I don't have all the answers. You might not be able to implement it where you're at because you live in the hood and everyone's out for themselves, or you know, your community just doesn't like you. I don't know what it is, but not everyone's going to be able to do it. I get it. But those are my recommendations. We got to take care of ourselves and take care of each other because we're the only ones we got. Thanks for watching. Take care out there.